So you're basically saying for leisure purposes, traveling is just not worth it right now, from your perspective?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's just too much, man. It's stressful.
Good morning from sunny Lisbon. Now, yesterday I flew from the Azores, a Portuguese island, to Lisbon. And today I'm flying from Lisbon back to the UK to Manchester. So in today's video, I want to show you exactly what to expect when traveling from a green list country back to the UK. So that's going to be everything from the tests that you need to return, what to expect going through security in terms of time, and also what COVID tests you need. So let's go check in. Now, before traveling back to the UK, there are 3 things that you must have done. You must have proof of a negative COVID test before you travel, and that must have been taken within 72 hours of your departure. The second thing is you must have filled out a passenger locator form, and third, you must have booked your day 2 PCR test.
Okay, COVID test.
So I have just gone through the boarding gate, and be aware they are being very, very strict in terms of having done all these documents and filled everything out prior to even getting on the flight. You have to have filled out the passenger locator form or they will not let you on the plane. A friend of mine had not filled out his passenger locator form in time and he did not get on his flight. So make sure you've done that. Now, in order to fill out your passenger locator form, you also need to have booked a day 2 PCR test for your return in the UK. Now, if you want to know more about that, I made a full video, so click the card up there or the link in my description and watch that video after this. Now, in terms of the negative COVID test that you need prior to departure, that can either be one of 3 tests. It can either be your PCR test, a LAMP test, or a lateral flow antigen test. Now, I did my lateral flow antigen test yesterday, and it's a very, very simple process. You get the nose swab, you stick it in your nose for about 5 seconds, you put that in the reagent, mix it about, put the cap on, and basically pour it into the cartridge. Wait about 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and one little line should appear if you are negative. I did this on a video recording with the company that I use, the Corona Test Center. They watched that it was done correctly, and upon getting your negative test result, they will send you a certification which you will attach to your boarding pass and present to the boarding gate upon your arrival. So make sure that is done in a timely manner before you fly. Also, something to be aware of is in certain countries such as Portugal and specifically the Azores, if you spend longer than 7 days there, they actually provide a free PCR test in the Azores on your 6th day. Now, this would constitute evidence at the boarding gate and for your arrival back to the UK. So that actually negates the need for a lateral flow antigen test. So make sure that you check where you travel, because this could potentially save you some money. Bye-bye, Lisbon!
If you need any assistance, please contact our cabin crew. Thank you.
Guys, normally for a short haul flight, I get to the airport about an hour and a half before, but I cannot stress this enough. Get there at least 2 hours before, because all of these added obstacles, all these added hurdles, longer queues, everything just takes way longer, and you do not want to have the anxiety that I've had coming through the airport with only an hour and a half. I'm literally dripping wet, but I'm so glad I got on the flight. And they give you these little hand sanitizer. So well done, Tap Portugal. There is literally nobody on this flight. Nobody wants to travel to Manchester or the UK.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Right, so I was one of the last people off the flight. Let's go to border control. And that didn't take long at all. Literally, security just asked where I'd been. What was I there for? Pretty casual. Didn't check any kind of COVID test though. So that is quite surprising. They are really stringent in Portugal in terms of getting on the flight. You could not board that plane without a COVID test, but here they did not check whatsoever. Makes you wonder why COVID's been such a problem here. My flight landed at 10 to 5 and it is now 5 past 5. And I was pretty much one of the last people off the plane, and really, really quick. No problems at all. No real documentation check. They didn't check my passenger locator form, which is surprising. So I guess for Portugal arrivals and people traveling from Portugal, it's only before you get on the plane that they check. They don't really care. at all upon entry at the border. Anyway, I'll check in with you guys tomorrow because tomorrow I am getting my day 2 PCR test. So until then, see you tomorrow. And I am here ready for my day 2 PCR test. Bear in mind that today is actually considered day 1 because when you land, that's considered day 0 and you have 2 days to do that PCR test. This was obviously already booked prior, so let's go inside and go get the test. Hello. How is it? 35.9. 35.9, not bad. What do I need that for?
Well, in case you sneeze.
In case I sneeze, yeah. Right, okay, that happened last time. You got it?
Yeah, that's just the first nod, so the second
Oh my
nod.
god, you gotta do the second nod. I'm ready when you are. Oh yeah. Oh my lord, have mercy on me. So that's everything. In and out.
Yeah.
Literally 2 minutes. Very impressed, thank you very much.
Hold on for that.
Great. And that was it for my day 2 PCR COVID test. I believe he's actually just handed them over to the gentleman there to send off to the lab. Very, very, very quick. I was literally in and out within 5 minutes, less than I was for my fit to fly test. So really, really quick, really impressed with that. And I'm gonna keep you posted as to whether I get any correspondence from any health officials or like the Gov to submit my results. Because as of so far, the only evidence I've had to give for my day 2 PCR is my booking reference code when submitting my passenger locator form. So I will keep you posted tomorrow when I get an update. So I'll speak to you then. And it has just gone 4 p.m. the following day. It is currently the day 2 deadline for me to have done my day 2 PCR test and have received the results. Now, I was really impressed with the Corona Test Center because my results actually came within 8 hours of doing my test. However, what's really quite weird is the fact that I've had no correspondence from any government emails to upload any results, which is really, really strange because I have heard many stories of other people who have traveled to amber list countries and have been required to quarantine, that they have been called by people asking, are you at home? And if they are not at home, police officers actually turning up to their door. So for me, it does seem quite bizarre that there doesn't seem to be anywhere that I have to actually document that I have actually gone and done the day 2 PCR test and got a negative result. Now, what I find a little bit crazy is when you have to fill out your passenger locator form, you have to give evidence of a booking reference number for your day 2 PCR test that you have booked prior to traveling home. What's to stop people just putting in a fake booking reference, like just a combination of numbers and letters, if no one's ultimately going to check? Like, absolutely don't do this. I'm absolutely not advising that anyone does try doing that because essentially that is fraud. And if you do get caught, I'm assuming you would probably end up getting prosecuted. But what's to stop people doing that? And I guess for me, that sort of reflects the government's management of this virus in a whole. Now, I know a big question that a lot of people seem to be asking is the day 2 PCR test the same as a regular PCR test? And the answer to that question is no. The day 2 PCR test is a completely different sort of PCR test, and it's actually more intricate and it tests for a further gene. So it appears to me that the way that the government are actually tracking these variants coming into the country is through that day 2 PCR tests. So in answer to your question, there you have it. The day 2 PCR test is a completely separate test to the generic fit to fly PCR test that you've all been doing here in the UK. Now, I know you're all probably thinking, having done a trip, is it worth traveling right now after all the hassle, all the obstacles, all these extra caveats that you've got to be aware of when traveling? And for me, as an experienced traveler, someone that does go on trips abroad very frequently, I've learned to become very, very organized when traveling. So for me, yes, it is very, very difficult to travel, but again, the positives outweigh the negatives. I love to get away. I think it's so, so important. So yes, I would do it again. And I had an amazing time in the Azores, and I cannot wait to show you the videos from there. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and also press the bell button so you get notified for every weekly video from there that gets posted. But I think the best way to answer this question is by actually calling Jay. Jay's a friend of mine that actually joined me in the Azores, and it will be very, very interesting to hear his perspective on what it's like to travel. So let's call him. LMA. So you're saying that like the check-in border people for the flight were just so unhelpful. They were literally just saying,
it was so unhelpful.
Like just go figure it out for yourself, sort of thing.
There was two elderly people that, like, there was this man and he didn't understand what to do either. Because a lot of the stuff, like, they'll just be like, oh yeah, just go on the gov website, but they weren't helping people. The lady was just like, I've told you what to do, sir. I can't help you any further. There was this lady that was crying, like she was like, I don't understand what to do.
So let me get this right. The first flight that you missed, you were literally told 5 minutes before that you couldn't get on because you hadn't received the verification from that lateral flow test, even though you'd already done the lateral flow test.
Right.
Wow. From your perspective, would you do that again? Is it worth it to travel now?
I wouldn't do unless I'm making money abroad. Because it's very pricey.
So you're basically saying for leisure purposes, traveling is just not worth it right now, from your perspective?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's just too much, man. It's stressful.
Well, there you have it. You've heard it from someone that travels a lot, and also from someone that doesn't necessarily travel a lot, but traveled on a vacation. I hope this video has been helpful at demonstrating the logistics of traveling back from a green list country, all the things that you've got to be aware of, and the things that you will have to accomplish in order to get home. If this video has been of help to you, please hit the like button down below. It really helps this channel and helps me bring more content like this. And also subscribe to my channel, because over the next month or so I'm going to be posting lots of travel content from the Azores, and I know you're absolutely going to love it. So please subscribe to my channel and also check out all these other videos that have popped up here. But as always, I'll see you next week.